in Fort Collins. We have the details.
And CSU hosts their annual Holocaust Awareness Week and World Unity Fair. See how these events shape students' perspectives.
Then see how one therapy center in Fort Collins is using psychedelics for healing purposes.
And we sat down with two students who bring the spirit to CSU game days.
All that and more on CTV starting right now.
Good evening. I'm Tate Paisley.
And I'm Bailey Borkowski. Thank you for joining us tonight.
After multiple cases of indecent exposure dating back to July of 2023, Fort Collins police arrested a man named Stephen Masulta in alleged connection to the crimes. Masulta was observed masturbating outside of businesses and local coffee shops, at least one incident involving a juvenile victim. He's been charged with 14 counts of indecent exposure, and Masulta will remain in custody. As the investigation continues, Fort Collins police urge potential victims and anyone with information to come forward. Assistant Chief Adam McCambridge expressed concern over these incidents and praised the police's efforts to apprehend the suspect. Now, the weather in Fort Collins has been pretty nice today. Let's head over to our weather studio to see if these conditions will clear up. Elyse?
Thanks, Tate. Good evening, Rams. I'm Elyse Gerkin, here to bring you tonight's weather forecast. This morning was slightly cold with some showers and clouds, but the sun still managed to blind me when I stepped out of my apartment this morning. This set the mood for the afternoon when the sun peeked through the clouds and warmed up CSU's campus. Currently, we are seeing clear skies in Fort Collins with a temperature of 38 degrees. Heading into the overnight lows, Fort Collins will drop down to 34 degrees, moving down the I-25 corridor. Temperatures will sit comfortably around 30 degrees. Shifting over to the eastern plains, you will see the same, with Limon being the only outlier of 27 degrees. Jumping over to the western slopes, it's going to be colder. Craig, Vail, Telluride, and Alamosa will be 16 degrees, and Grand Junction is going to be a warmer evening, sitting at 32 degrees. Leading off the weekend with some sun, tomorrow's high will reach all the way up to 52 degrees and drop down later in the evening to 28 degrees. Diving into the next 5 days, there's going to be quite a bit of sun. Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. They don't call it Sunday for nothing. The temperature is going to fall around 60 degrees. Tuesday you can expect potential snow, and Wednesday the sun might make an appearance. That's all for me today, Rams. I'm thinking of heading up to the slopes this weekend to do some sunny skiing. Back to you, Tate.
Thanks, Elyse. A Loveland skier was pronounced dead after a tragic incident on the Double Dip Blue Trail last Friday. The ski patrol immediately responded. However, the skier could not be revived. The Clear Creek County Sheriff's Office reported that the skier was found unconscious and unresponsive. Investigators suspect a collision with a tree as the cause of death, and no criminal investigation will be launched. Loveland Ski Area expressed deep condolences to the skiers' loved ones during this tragic time.
The presidential primaries are rapidly approaching. Here's some information from the Coloradoan on what mail-in voters may take into account before casting their vote. March 5th is the final day for people to send in their votes. Ballots must be turned in by 7 o'clock that night, and it is recommended to mail the ballot by February 26th to ensure that it will be counted. If that is not enough time, voters may also return it in person to a ballot collection box, again by March 5th. Fort Collins has seen a lot of changes this past year. Here with more on the state of the city is Gabriele Hibbitts. Gabriele?
Thanks, Bailey. Fort Collins Mayor Jen Art and City Manager Kelly DiMartino will host the State of the City on Monday, February 26th at the Lincoln Center. The annual event is an opportunity to reflect on the events and accomplishments of 2023. This year's State of the City will be held in the Canyon West Ballroom at the Lincoln Center. Doors will open at 5:30 in the evening. The presentation will begin at 6, followed by a reception. Spanish and ASL interpretation will be provided. Fort Collins has seen a lot of changes this year and a lot of new accomplishments. What's your favorite thing about CSU, Bailey?
With being only here for about a couple months now, I just really love the weather and the people here. Everyone is super kind and welcoming. That definitely has to be one of my favorite things. What about you, Tate?
Well, given my almost exclusive interaction with college students, most of the time all I hear about is the traffic. But I personally am very appreciative of the vast amount of greenery that we have here up in Fort Collins, even if it is a bit dead this time of year.
I'm so excited for spring. I can't wait to see the campus in full bloom.
God, I am so ready.
Well, don't go away just yet. After the break, we'll dive into CSU's historic events that took place this week.
Living with someone you don't know on the other side of the wall is hard, especially if you don't know how to be a good roommate.
The first thing that you'll want to do to be a good roommate is make sure that you always stay quiet.
Be considerate of others when using common spaces and appliances.
Hey buddy, what you doing?
I'm just gonna need like 40 minutes. Be respectful of your roommate's privacy. Ugh, my bad.
Finally, make sure that you clean up after yourself. Oh, fresh toothbrush.
Did you see my toothbrush?
Follow these tips to get along with your roommates and your landlord.
Welcome back from the break. On February 18th, CSU's 68th Annual World Unity Fair brought together a vibrant tapestry of cultures, diverse clubs, and organizations showcasing the richness of their countries and languages. From spirited performances to tasty cuisines, the event celebrated the global representation that thrives within the university community. The World Unity Fair is one of CSU's annual events, showcasing a variety of multicultural clubs and organizations.
It's really to showcase the cultures, the many cultures that we have here at CSU, and let that be something that the community gets to experience. And it's an opportunity for our students to really share a little bit about their country, their music, their background, their traditions with the community. And that's not something that they always get to do. So it's the one opportunity that they really have to do that in a big way.
Oh, everybody come here to try to know more about our Vietnamese game, to know more about Vietnamese food, and we'll to talk more about us like that.
I feel like we've been doing pretty well today. We're a pretty small club, but there's not too many Arabic-speaking clubs on campus, so just for that reason we've gotten some. And we also write people's names in Arabic, so they really like that.
The fair has grown greatly since its conception and now sees hundreds of attendees looking to experience the diversity that CSU and its students have to offer.
This is an amazing event. I think it's my favorite thing that we do every year. It's just a really great opportunity to learn about so many different cultures. I like to say it's the best way to travel around the world in just a couple of hours. It's a free event. You can enjoy performances. You can check out all of the different culture booths. And then if you want to support clubs, you can purchase food. It's a really great opportunity for anyone at CSU or anyone in Fort Collins to learn about all our international students on campus.
It's so cool to see all the different clubs coming together. And there's people from all over the world here, which is so amazing. So yeah, just a super cool event. I'm so happy to be here.
We expect to keep on doing this. We paused during COVID, but this has actually only ever been paused twice. Once during the Vietnam War it had to go on pause, and during COVID. So we expect to do this every year.
With no signs of stopping, CSU's World Unity Fair will continue to be an example of diversity and inclusion to all who experience it. The World Unity Fair at CSU wraps up with a strong message of inclusion and cultural celebration. This annual event highlights the diverse community on campus, fostering connections and appreciation for global traditions. Input from the audience seems to hint at an even more exciting event next year. The World Unity Fair is not the only cultural event that took place on the campus this weekend. Reporter Michael Rosales has the story. Michael?
Thanks, Tate. CSU hosts its 25th annual Holocaust Awareness Week offering a series of events to honor those lost and further educate all future generations through film screenings and survivor discussions. Holocaust Awareness Week at CSU brings together students and faculty to remember the victims and celebrate acts of resistance. These events shed light on stories that are often untold.
We strive to have the kind of community that offers opportunities to learn, to grow, and to support each other. You know, I've been to this event for many years now, and it's always a remarkable evening. Year after year, the stories told by our honored guests are incredible.
The Field of Flags stands as a powerful testament to the diversity and unity of humanity, reminding us to stand against hatred and discrimination. Each color of the flags represents a different subset of people whose lives were directly affected by the Holocaust. On Monday the 19th, attendees gathered at the Elyse Theater for a special screening of The Windermere Children, a drama film depicting the experiences of children survivors of the Holocaust. The main event of the week was an evening with a Holocaust survivor featuring Mrs. Esther Bach. Now 96 years old, she shared her story of tragedy and survival.
On my 16th birthday, May 28, 1944, is when we got up to pray at Auschwitz. Right away, they threw my father to the right, later finding out straight to the gas chambers.
Holocaust Awareness Week offers a historic and increasingly rare opportunity to hear live testimony from survivors like Mrs. Bach and to honor the memory of those whose lives were lost in the Holocaust. As CSU's 25th Annual Holocaust Awareness Week continues, events like Friday's Memorial and Walk emphasize the importance of remembering and coming together as a community for a brighter future. Back to you, Tate.
Thanks, Michael. Forbes magazine ranks CSU the best large educational employer in Colorado. The America's Best Large Employers list also gave the university 211th place in the nation. The only other Colorado university to make the list is the University of Colorado Anschutz Medical Campus.
That's not the only piece of hardware CSU picked up recently. Colorado State University is the only college in the United States to make the Financial Times Best Business Schools list. This award is only given out to universities that demonstrate responsible and sustainable business education. CSU was one of only 5 universities to receive this award. College of Business Dean Beth Walker hopes to create a community focused around business for a better world.
CSU is launching a brand new streaming network. Ramp Plus will be the home to all of the best CSU-related content, from podcasts, documentaries, educational videos, and even yours truly, CTV. According to their website, the goal of Ramp Plus is to create one central media site for all things CSU, for anyone interested in the university. CSU is partnering with Stream Stack for the project, which will be launching on March 1st at www.rampplus.tv.
Transfer students make up a large portion of CSU's population. These individuals can face hardships when entering a new environment. This week, I spoke with 2 transfer students on how they were able to find their place at CSU. At Colorado State University, 1/3 of the student population consists of those who have transferred from various universities. Students transfer for multiple reasons, whether it be for education, sports, or monetary reasons. Students have found a home here at CSU. 2 transfer students share how they found their place on campus.
Mostly through my classes and joining like extracurriculars. I'm a part of the CPD, which is the Center for Public Deliberation, which I found was a good place to make friends.
So what really helped me was just seeing all the tabling outside with all the different clubs and organizations the first couple weeks of school. It was a very welcoming atmosphere.
Engaging with organizations that align with your interests can be an effective approach for making friends and meeting new people. However, to despite the abundant opportunities, students may still face challenges throughout their transition.
I'd say it was a bit hard coming in and not knowing anyone, especially coming in sophomore year, where I didn't get to do like Rams Welcome or orientation or live in the dorms with everyone.
In order to combat this, CSU assigns new students a transfer transition leader.
My role here is mainly to help transfer students get acclimated with their new university and to help them find their community, feel welcome, and get the resources that they need to help them thrive best.
With a diverse array of sports, clubs, classes, and events, CSU hopes to offer every student opportunities to thrive both socially and academically. Joining clubs is just one way students can get involved. Transfer transition leaders are just one of the many resources to help students adjust to CSU. Those who are interested in meeting new people can check out the events that are held by the transfer transition leaders. Whether you're a transfer student or a student that has been on campus for years, you will know there is one group of students with the most school spirit. Our Thursday night sports anchor, Zoe Weir, has more. Zoe?
Thanks, Bailey. Every Thursday, we talk about basketball, football, and other CSU sports. But how about the girls who participate in all of the above? I sat down with two seniors who have been the Green and Gold's biggest fans for the past 4 years.
How's it going, guys? This is CTV Channel 11 Sports, and I'm here today with the backbone to all of CSU athletics.
I'm Emily. And I'm Jordan.
All right, you guys are seriously at every game, every Ram Walk, all the festivities. What is the time management like?
Our time management, it's definitely, at times we're cheering for 3 sports at a time, so we've kind of nailed it down because we're seniors, but it's definitely a lot of looking at your schedule ahead of time and like realizing when you have busy games and a busy week to get your schoolwork done ahead of time so that we're not stressed.
Yeah, it's definitely a busy time, but it's definitely doable when you finally like figure out the groove of like doing all the games and your homework and school, and if you work on top of that, but it is definitely doable.
Yeah. So like I said, you're seriously at every game. So do you guys have different cheers and stunts you're doing at football and basketball, or how does it all work?
A lot of it is kind of the same, but I mean, we definitely have different restrictions going from different sports. But I would say that we have much like all the same stuff.
Yeah, basketball season, like she said, we're restricted more because we're on the court and we're not on turf, so we can't do like our pyramids or our baskets, but we still do some fun stunts that the crowd does definitely enjoy.
Yeah. So you guys are pretty much responsible for creating the atmosphere at all the games. How do you guys keep the fans on their feet? How do you keep everybody in high spirit?
I definitely think like the student and like cheerleaders like relationship is definitely important. Like getting to know our crowd and getting to know like what they want to do and not just like versus what we want to do. Like I definitely think it's important to like take what they want into consideration and like keeping the vibes high for everyone that's in the stadium.
All right, what does it mean to be game day ready? Like what time are you guys showing up? What are you guys doing to get prepared?
Game day ready, it's definitely a preparation for football. We're there probably 4 to 5 hours early because we have to warm up and we have to prepare with band for pregame and Ram Walk. And then for all of our other games, we're there an hour early to warm up our stunts and just make sure that we have everything set that we're going to do.
All right, so you guys have had a front row seat to some pretty awesome CSU moments. From the Boise win, you guys were a part of College Game Day. What has been your guys' favorite moment in the last 4 years you guys have been on this team?
College Game Day was really cool. We had an opportunity to meet some really cool people, and the Boulder game for basketball and football was a really cool experience, but definitely Boise State. That was a big win.
All right, so my final question is, throughout your guys' time here, what has been just the best part about cheering on the Green and Gold, or what's the team part of it?
And it's definitely the relationships. Like I have met my absolute best friends through this program, and also the coaching staff. Like my coaches are my best friends too. Like there's someone I can lean on. So it's definitely the people, and like we all have one goal. Like we all do what we love together, and we all just want to cheer on the Rams.
All right, thank you girls so much. We'll see you guys at the next basketball game.
We have to give credit where credit is due. These ladies dedicate every Saturday in the fall, late weeknights, and early mornings to bring an amazing atmosphere to Canvas and Moby. Every game day truly would not be the same without these girls. Don't go away just yet. After the break, we'll take a look at new alternatives for treating mental health. We'll be right back.
don't think I'm into this kind of stuff fully. I can't do it. Hey, I think I'm pretty anxious. I'm just.
No, we can pause this.
We can take a break.
Let me go get some water. Yeah,
Yes,
we're good.
Welcome back from the break. I'm Bella Walser. Over the past decade, ketamine has become a much larger conversation in both negative and positive ways. Ketamine is a dissociative medicine that is used traditionally for anesthesia, but also as a treatment for pain management and mental health. You may have heard of the recreational side of ketamine, or maybe even some scarier perspectives, like being used as a horse tranquilizer, or ketamine potentially playing a part in Matthew Perry's death. However, there is a whole other side of ketamine being used as a medicine. The drug is not only used as an anesthetic, but also as a tool for mental health. This is known as ketamine-assisted psychotherapy. The number of ketamine clinics has grown exponentially as individuals begin to look for alternate ways to help with their mental health. Ketamine clinics even exist right here in Fort Collins. I had the opportunity to speak with 3 different therapists who work at 3 separate Fort Collins businesses that offer ketamine-assisted therapy.
There's a lot of hype. There's, people are seeing it in every magazine. It's on the news a lot, positively and negatively.
Ketamine-assisted psychotherapy, also known as CAP, is one of the growing ways ketamine can be used beneficially.
So CAP is an intervention using ketamine to induce an altered state for people. There's been some benefits have actually been tracked since the 70s for the usefulness of this, antidepressant effects.
So enter ketamine to be kind of a rapid change agent and really lift you out of that muck sometimes that we get stuck in to do the things that you might otherwise not do, like participate in doing things for yourself that help you out.
The assisted therapy can be useful for many mental health challenges.
I have seen it work for a wide range of things, for people exploring things about their identities and relationships, to working with trauma, symptoms of obsessive compulsive disorder.
So beliefs, rigid thinking patterns, that's places where people can get really trapped and feel kind of hopeless, and they've tried lots of different things and don't really seem to get traction.
But how does ketamine work as an assistant to therapy?
Well, ketamine mainly works by having a lot to do with brain plasticity,
which is the brain's ability to reorganize and adapt through new connections.
Glutamate is the #1 excitatory neurotransmitter. Glutamate has a receptor that ketamine blocks. Ketamine blocks that, so glutamate doesn't work.
So ketamine works by blocking off these glutamate receptors, which then causes a spike in these key neurotransmitters.
And 2 or 3 days after, your brain, like I said, very neuroplastic, it puts out dendrites, which are the ends of the nerve cell that make connections to the next part of the nerve cell. And all of a sudden, 10,000 more here and 100,000 more there, and all of a sudden those pathways that you're on forever, making every decision of your life that no matter what it was not very comfortable when you made it. Now you have different ways to kind of approach the same decision.
So by influencing these glutamate levels, ketamine is able to promote brain plasticity and create new connections.
So you're making new connections, making new pathways, which, whether it's depression, anxiety, addiction, suicide, those are built on old pathways and old programming, and this allows you to kind of create new ones.
With the help of ketamine to promote more brain plasticity, therapists then work with their patients to create change.
We really want to be in here and supported with someone that can help navigate the different material that might show up, and in doing that, create a supportive environment to then they can actually make meaningful change outside of the therapy office, which, in my view, is where the majority of the work happens.
The integration is really where the rubber meets the road with this treatment.
The work you do in between the time you do the medicine is what really makes the difference. It's called integration. You integrate those things. What do those experiences mean? How does that make movement in your life?
However, ketamine does have many perspectives and stigmas that can give the medicine a negative view.
I get it, because those stigmas come to folks in a lot of different ways, but maybe at the same time a really honest conversation about how many lives ketamine's changed.
I think people are worried that it's going to be scary. It's not everybody's cup of tea, or they might have fears or misconceptions or things like that. And so I would educate them, you know, just kind of plant the seed. There's no pressure because it's not something that it's a very different approach. And so it's not something that everyone is going to come ready to do right away.
For potential patients, therapists recommend to do your own research and make sure you find a safe and reliable office.
So if you're looking for this treatment, you're going to want to look for, from my perspective, look for ketamine-assisted psychotherapy. So you're getting the combination of the psychotherapeutic support and the ketamine, not just the ketamine.
And I think that asking therapists what they're trained in, how they've been trained, also that they've got their basic life-saving skills. I think that ketamine-assisted therapy can add another layer that then allows them to feel empowered in their life in useful ways, beyond just kind of coping with stress, but actually getting on with the life that they want to live.
It's important to keep in mind that all the therapists I talk to recognize that there are many risky ketamine clinics out there that are not all as regulated. Because ketamine is legal for medical use, any nurse practitioner or doctor can prescribe ketamine off-label, which makes it very easy to get. I had the chance to speak with the former president of the American Society of Anesthesiologists, Dr. Randall Clark, who has done research on some of the negative impacts of the drug when used as an anesthetic.
So just having a clinic set up someplace to be able to give these therapies, in my opinion, is not a good thing. It really needs to be a comprehensive program with lots of safety measures in place and a fairly rigorous approach to how you take care of patients.
Clark recommends a multidisciplinary approach for ketamine-assisted therapy, which means there should be both a doctor and a therapist to help create a support framework for patients. Clark sees ketamine as a powerful drug that can be extremely beneficial in many situations, but should also not be taken lightly. As of right now, ketamine is the only psychedelic that is nationally legalized for use. However, Colorado is among the few states that have recently made strides in the world of psychedelic medicine. The Natural Medicine Health Act was approved by Colorado voters in November 2022. The proposition decriminalized psilocybin, or more commonly known as psychedelic mushrooms, for people over the age of 21. Coloradoans are still unable to buy psilocybin over the counter. However, it is legal to consume and grow small amounts. Under this proposition, Colorado regulators can also decide to create similar programs for 3 more psychedelic medicines starting in 2026.
It's interesting with it being decriminalized. It's interesting with it being decriminalized compared to cannabis, which is legalized, which means you can, amongst other things, you can go to a store and buy cannabis. In the Natural Medicine Health Act, there are 4 medicines that were decriminalized, so you can't go to a store and buy DMT or mescaline or ibogaine or psilocybin. But
along with psilocybin, MDMA is another psychedelic medicine making breakthrough. At the end of 2023, an application filed with the FDA approved MDMA to treat post-traumatic stress disorder. If the application is approved, MDMA would be the first psychedelic treatment approved, specifically for mental health.
It's specifically indicated for PTSD with MDMA, and they're the first to the line with going through this process to potentially have a new psychedelic treatment for a mental health indication. I mean, ketamine working in that off-label area is kind of pioneering, but it's not specifically approved.
The world of alternatives for mental health is growing fast as more states decriminalize such substances. Many therapists hope these breakthroughs will open the door for more research and nationwide practices. Well, that is all the time we have for tonight's show, but make sure to tune in next Tuesday for a recap on high school swim and dive championships. We'll see you then.